fanatic behavior.
Yeah.
Caring too much about things.
Yes.
Put it that way.
That you have no control over.
Or in the end of the day will mean nothing to you.
Right.
But in North Carolina last night, folks, we had two games that were ended in some type of a physical violence between fans. One was outside the gym, one during the gym, and they had to actually stop play with 19 seconds left in a game. Teams are an hour and a half from each other, and Hunter, one team down by 6, and that road team now, instead of just clearing the gym right then while everybody's there and finishing the 19 seconds, they decided to send everybody home immediately, and that team will have to drive 3 hours round trip, plus food, gas money, and all the other stuff to play 19 seconds of a ball game. Do warm-ups, all that. Do all the kit and caboodle for. They're going to warm up longer than they're going to play. And so instead of the Athletic Association saying, hey, this team wins, this team lost, or replay the whole game.
That's what I even mentioned. That was the idea that I threw around while we were off air, because if you're going to be driving that kind of distance anyways, don't you think it should be, well worth the time that you're putting in? I know good and well I'm not driving anywhere. Plus 30 minutes. Plus 30 minutes, even if I'm only going to be there for 19 seconds.
No fans will be allowed. So it'll be only the players and the referees. If you're the visiting team down 6, do you take any more than 5 people with you?
No.
And do you take your 5 best players?
No.
Do you try to win that last 6? It's 19 seconds.
The real question is, it's doable.
You're going to have to foul, they miss, you hit a 3, foul, they miss, you hit a 3, foul, they miss.
This is what it's going to be. It's going to be one of the longest 19 seconds, depending on how many fouls and how many timeouts each team respectively had.
They're going to drive an hour and a half, warm up for 10 minutes, Hunter.
I'm
and
be
then
honest.
Play 19
Seriously,
seconds.
if I'm be 100% serious, I'm surprised the school has not stepped in and said, we're not supplying you the school bus to go up here for 19 seconds and come right back around, using 3 hours worth of gas out of one of our buses.
It's probably 2 full tanks of gas, ain't it? I don't know their mileage or how much they hold and everything, but I would guess that it's not. I mean, the 3-hour round trip's not that great on a bus. I would imagine. I don't know if they'll have to.
And then
I don't know if they chartered one. So, because Shelby had a charter bus, so did they actually have to charter bus, or are they school buses? That's a good question. But does the fans should fans acting like fools affect the game?
No,
and that's what happened here.
No,
and usually you're kicking fans out and like clearing right then and there. I believe the police and the administration should have been like, y'all get out of the gym, and then we're going to finish this game, instead of the situation they're in. And another fight was outside. But Hunter, I know the word is fanatic, but and growing up and getting older, I was young and I've acted like a fool at games and stuff like that, and you want your team to win, and then a call goes against you, and now you're blaming the referees and this and that, and I've always in the past basically 10 years said if you don't want the referees to affect the game, win by 10. Whatever sport you're in. You win by 10, the referees can't do nothing about it. So just if you keep scoring, you keep doing what you're supposed to. But, the game that we had, there was a ton of questionable calls. There was a ton of weird calls. One of the things that I kind of mentioned a couple weeks ago when we were talking about the NBA fixing scandal is how to keep a ball game close as a referee in basketball. And I didn't accuse one of the referees of doing it, but I was saying this is what would happen. This is the way that the NBA used to do this with off-the-ball fouls. And so what you do, Hunter, for example, Shelby last night, in the first minute of the second half, committed 3 off-the-ball fouls. How many times do you see that happen? Not much. So by the time before we even got to the fourth quarter, the home team is already shooting free throws in the 1-and-1 and 2 free throws on every contact. They probably got 10 free throws on the other side of the court, nowhere near, not even shooting a basket and everything, based on those kind of calls. And it's just I see where fans come from. They want their team to win, but at some point, why does it matter so much that you're willing to fight someone?
Yeah,
and get it on like the whole. I think people have a serious problem. If someone disrespects you, you need to get over it.
Oh, yeah.
99% of people on this planet don't respect you or me or whoever we are.
This is the thing as well. People got to stop having such thin skin.
Why should I care about what you think about me? If I don't know you, Hunter, and you call me a name and stuff, I personally don't care because your opinion holds no value to me.
These teams don't play each other multiple times a year. These kids didn't grow up playing together, travel ball, so these parents don't know each other. What does it matter what Johnny's dad says about you? I mean, Johnny's dad doesn't even, for one, we don't really know who Johnny's dad is as a person.
Right.
So outside of this, he might be a very nice guy, but within those walls, the fanatic comes out in him, and he starts saying things that he usually wouldn't say on Sunday mornings. So I agree. And especially to the point where there needs to be more self-awareness brought to the parents and the fans themselves. And basically someone bringing that to the front and saying this kind of behavior will not be tolerated
from
at all.
The adults.
This is why, especially from the adults, yes. And that's why, for me, when I said, if I was them and they really are going to go up here and have to replay 19 seconds. First of all, how many of these students really want to drive up for an hour and a half on this bus to warm up, play 19 seconds, and then go home?
Honestly, I say they take a minivan. Like,
if I'm the coach,
somebody's Tahoe or minivan or whatever.
If I'm the coach of the losing team, because obviously they're the ones that have to drive up there, I'm saying, all right, taking a poll. Who wants to go?
Are you trying to win by taking? Are you taking 10? That's the question. Are you just taking 5?
Here's the thing: you're just going to take 5 or 6, maybe the guys that you had on. Now, more than likely, they're going to be like, got to have the same guys that you had on the court. So, sorry, boys.
You can't dictate substitutions, though. I would say.
I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like, now you're telling these kids.
If you're going to make the trip, you're going to try to win and take your 5 starters, I guess. You're not just going to ride up there with your. I mean. If you're going to ride up there with your bench players, you might as well just forfeit before you go.
No, but that's what I'm getting at is like, what if the kids are like, look,
we don't want to go.
You're asking us literally to waste 3 hours, 3 plus hours,
4
really
hours probably
4 hours,
maybe even 5, just depending on dinner and stuff like that.
On 19 seconds. To me, that's where I'm serious.
On a school night.
Yeah, on a school night.
They'll have Thursday.
They'll have school the next day. To me, it's one of those things where it's like, that is the only that right there alone should be why you should replay the whole game. The whole game. And if the home team ends up losing, oh well. And there was no factors. And when you replay the game, no fans in the gym. No fans in the gym. That's not only
that's what they're doing
with the
19 seconds. But you're
exactly.
Saying
But I'm talking for the whole game. That's sending a message saying, "Look, we're not going to tolerate this." And I think they should implement that anyways on the team that wins and moves on to the next round, whether or not they're hosting the game or they have to go somewhere else. If they have to go somewhere else, you can't have any of your fans travel. I've seen it happen in pro sports. I've seen there been a huge ban with soccer fans overseas, just due to violence that breaks out because of fanatics.
It's so silly. Like it is silly to me, and maybe some of it's alcohol fueled, but not at the high school games.
No, not at the high school games.
But it's just. I mean, it's just a game. Folks.
Well, we
love the point of the sport.
But
sports is to love the sports.
Yeah.
And to have fun with it, and to be, and it's just that
get
there. That's not the.
What's tough about high school as well is I know you're saying there's not the alcohol involved, but it's the fact that half of them are the parents. That was the
fight. There was no players in either one of the fights.
It's the parents of the players. Right. It's not only the fact that you love the game, but that's your son or daughter out there playing, and you sure as hell ain't going to take crap from nobody else talking about your son or daughter. That's instant Papa Bear, Mama Bear mode right there. You hear somebody else from another fan say something to your child, I completely understand you standing up and saying, well, that's inappropriate. I'm not saying throw hands.
Right.
Now I'm saying addressing it and saying as long you leave the kids out of it, obviously. But even then, fanatic-wise, dude, there's no reason to get in a fight over a ball game. At the end of the day, what I think a lot of people don't realize is that sports is not life or death.
And maybe the parents and folks care more than
the kids.
Right. That's what I was about to say. Maybe, just maybe, Hunter.
living vicariously through their children if they're like that. But this is one of the things as well. It's just the whole, sports is not life and death. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that don't know, sports business is an entertainment-based business. It's entertainment. It's the same thing when people get all upset at TV shows. It's like, what does it got to do with you? Like nothing. The same thing with sports. What can you do to change the outcome? Nothing. You're not on the court. So don't get upset. This was a perfect example last night. Now, granted, he's young. I was fortunate enough last night when I went to the Hornets game. My cousin was there with her husband and her sons. Well, her sons are 7 and 5, so they're still small. But they like the Hornets and they enjoy sports. Well, the oldest one, he can get very emotional at times.
Should we call? You said your cousin.
Yeah.
Do you think someone should have a talk with them or social services about them taking them to a Hornets game and putting them through the torture of watching the Charlotte Hornets?
No, Kristen and Wesley, they're great. They're great parents. But
I've taken my kids, folks.
But
it's
one of those things where, like, I'm keeping with the emotional aspect. Right. They were winning at one point. The Hornets were winning, and the San Antonio Spurs made the comeback.
Right.
And the oldest one got so upset that he would start to have tears in his eyes, and he would be like, "It's not fair. Why aren't they winning?" And Wes, his father, had to remind him. He says, "Look, there's nothing we can do. It's just the Hornets are just playing bad.
Just a game.
It's just a game. It's just a game." And he calmed down when the game was over. But I know how tough it can be as a fan. But I have had to tell myself that multiple times as a Redskins fan. Right? I can't do anything about it. I don't work in the front office. I'm not part of the coaching staff, and I am not a part of the players on the team. I am just a fan that they take money from.
So Hunter, me having this issue with the Cowboys after 30-something years of being one of their fans is it's a little liberating. I would advise it to anyone because some people are way more loyal to their sports teams than they are their loves.
Yes,
their husbands, wives, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever you are. Because even family members, moms, dads, brothers, sisters. I'm not even gonna say some. I'm gonna say most people.
I can agree with that.
Are more loyal. There's plenty of people that's been divorced and never gave up their favorite team,
football team. Are you kidding me?
And the ones that crack me up, Hunter, that are so loyal to these teams. So for example, let's talk about Panther fans.
Mm-hmm.
Shane was in here the other day.
Right.
He said, "Who you pull for?" Panthers. He said, "You got to pull for them whenever you live near them." Why? Why is that a rule? Because my taxes go to a team. I have to pull for them.
Right.
And that right there drives me crazy more than anything is people saying you have to pull for them because you're now. And here's my example, Hunter. Everyone from, let's say, Cherryville or Gastonia or Lincoln would claim, if someone asked you where you're from, you would claim Charlotte. Near Charlotte.
Right.
Do most people in Charlotte not call all the other counties losers, rednecks, things like that? They will not claim, when people from Charlotte claim, "Oh yeah, Cherryville, man, I love the people in Cherryville," or "I love the people in Shelby." Will they ever say that?
Well, you know what was funny was when in the what was it, the Final Four a few years ago, South Carolina had an opportunity to play North Carolina almost, and it was looking like it was going to happen. And they said, if this is the matchup, the winner claims Gastonia. Whether South the loser claims Gastonia.
That's what I'm saying. People will be die hard
about,
I have to pull for the Charlotte sports team, but there's not a single person in Charlotte who gives a rat's ass about you, me, and anything else. Listen, I said I'm not going to pull for Dallas until Jerry dies. Not a single person from the Dallas Cowboys organization has called me to ask me if I want to come back or reached out or what the problem. How can we do back? Right.
What's wrong?
They don't care.
You don't want to.
People in Charlotte don't care a lick of beans about anybody outside of Mecklenburg County.
Jerry will write you a small check.
There's people in Gaston County don't even know Cherryville's in Gaston County. I don't know how many people I've went. We play these teams in school, and I'm like, Cherryville's in Gaston County. And then in fifth grade, my son's over here reading about Mesopotamia, And I told my wife, and I was like, third grade, or second grade, Mesopotamia. I said, 90% of those kids can't say Mesopotamia.
Right.
Can't find it on a map. And because it's not on a map. But wouldn't it be better to teach them where Cherville is or where Shelby is or how to get to Lincoln? Hey, guys, you live in Shelby. This is how you get to Lincoln.
Yeah.
Not, well, let's break down the Mesopotamian plain.
I mean, you make a good point. But I think it still comes back to the fact we're talking about fanatics,
right?
And it just comes down to we can love sports. It is okay to be passionate about sports. Mm-hmm. It's different to be flat out, crazy and a lunatic about sports to where you get
fun,
violent.
You can be crazy fun.
Yeah, it's all fun and games until somebody gets hurt. That's the famous line.
It's insane. Fights in the stands are insane to me because not a single person on that field cares about your and the other guy's argument.
Mm-hmm.
Like one guy saying you suck, the other team saying you suck, and okay, well, let's fight. And then the guys on the field are like,
I mean, the only way that changed was the only one that changed was Malice at the Palace,
right? And
that was because Ron Artest was just like, I've had enough of this joker.
Well, threw a beer at him.
Yeah, threw a beer at him, and then I honest to God was surprised Russell Westbrook didn't go at that fan. What was it in Utah? It was somebody. Yeah, and they obviously
the kid that touched him.
Not the kid that touched him. The one that called him the derogatory name.
Right.
Because we all know that's fighting words. Very rarely do athletes get triggered at fans, but when they do, there's usually good reasoning. And I'm honest to God surprised he didn't go at him.
I think something funny or intelligent.
Yeah.
These fans want to get you're trying to get them off their game.
It's just one of those things where it's like, how many times have you seen on social media videos going viral of in the stands? Now, these people that are for the away team can't help where their seats are.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're sitting behind a diehard Panthers fan
mm-hmm.
and they're sitting there wearing, I don't know, like the Bears, like they're
mm-hmm.
Chicago Bears fans, and the Bears are beating the Panthers, and he's standing up cheering, that gives the Carolina Panthers fan no right to turn around and start bickering and blasting him. I mean, he paid for those seats just like you did.
I've made a few Panthers fans mad at me in the stadium in the past. One of them was
there's no reason for you to be that fanatical over a team to where somebody else just cheering and being happy and who paid the same amount of money you did for those seats.
Right.
Like you turn around and decide to take it out on them, then they'll never come back.
Right,
and you think you did the Panthers a service because that fan was not rooting for them. For the Panthers. They were getting beat on the field, so you took care of a fan in the stands.
You know how I made one of them mad?
How?
Just reading Cam Newton's stats out, comparing them to other bad quarterbacks.
Well, see, now that's now luckily, like I know a lot, like Wesley, who was there last night.
He's got as many wins as Andy Dalton.
Yeah. So Wes, who was there last night, he's a fan of the Panthers,
right?
And he even admits, he says, "Look, I'm not like those Cam lovers." He said, "I at least can see."
You're supposed to love the team, not the players.
Yeah, he said, I can see how to make the team better. He said, and sometimes Cam's just not the way. And so that's what does it to a lot of Carolina.
What type
Cam
of mother
fans.
lets their kid buy a Greg Olsen jersey?
I don't know, because he wants to be third leg Greg.
You see what I mean?
Know.
Like if you're a mom, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, folks, see, and that's the thing. They don't let some of this stuff out. Like, I just don't see, like I said, the team, not the players. But yeah, it's just we've had some incidents here in North Carolina lately, and these folks acting like fools during the playoffs.
I think what makes
that was
it
just nuts. I'm glad it wasn't last night.
Yeah.
I mean, but now Saturday.
Now here's the thing. Now this is what I think makes it worse. When it's on the level of high school or lower. I think that's just a bad look.
It's awful.
It's just a bad look. Because if your kid is on the floor, can you imagine how embarrassing that is? That his parents are getting in fight with another team's parents. Not only the yelling match that takes place before.
Some of them don't care.
I'm just like,
I've been on teams where I've told mom not to yell at the refs before or something. But,
I've done that before. But I was so mad at my father one time.
I've been on teams
that
teammates' parents acted like fools.
Right.
And you're right. I don't know if it's as embarrassing for that kid as it is
for me.
The rest of the other players are like,
yeah.
well, I'm glad my mom's or dad's not acting like that. And I've seen and heard those and you know, and I've reffed youth sports before and umpired baseball and youth sports and when I'm on the field umpiring, I'm just trying to get the calls right.
Yeah.
Is all I'm trying to do. It's called safe, out, foul, and get it right. I have no agenda. I don't care. I told one coach, I said, I don't care if you both score 99 or nothing. I mean, it doesn't matter to me one bit. And if you think the calls are going your way, I'm sorry. And I explained to them, you know, where my strike zone was and this and that. And then you still have, you know, the fans that sit there and yell at the umpires during the game and referees for every call and every little thing.
Right.
The baseball ones are silly to me because it's so if in basketball you drive and there's no foul and the other team gets a rebound, that's a turnover in the other way.
Yeah.
In baseball, if you get mad at called strike one, you've got two more.
Yeah, you've got an opportunity.
If you get mad at called strike two, you got one more.
Yeah.
And if you get mad at called strike 300, you know what you should have done? Swung the damn bat with 2 strikes.
Yeah.
Okay?
Don't ever, we said on them, don't ever go down looking.
No. That one, that drives me crazy more. Strikeouts are bad.
Yeah.
I think that's the worst thing you can do as a hitter is strike out. And when you do it looking, I think that's the worst thing you can do because you didn't attempt to help your team.
So basically what we're saying, for those of you viewing who are parents, have kids coming up in ball, whether they're really small, middle school, or high school level, just keep your cool, man. Just keep your cool. There's no sense in a team having to drive an hour and a half back up the road to finish 19 seconds of a ball game they're losing by 6 points. There's no reason for that. Hour and a half there, hour and a half back, and however much time is in between for warm-ups and them to get those 19 seconds done. That is a waste of that kid's day, especially if he's got a job that he could have been at. That's a damn waste, and it is shameful. And it's all because parents or even just fans, you know, alumni, they don't even go to school there anymore, but they come back and they watch the games, whether it was a parent or just somebody else in the stands, is unnecessary. It's unnecessary. You should never get mad enough at a sport that you throw hands.
I'm just, I mean, unless someone's physically, you know, getting into it with you on the field.
I mean, of course, in games that promote contact, you're going to have some chippiness because I don't think anybody really just likes getting pushed around. But that's the name of the sport. When you play basketball and you're down in the post, you really can't start getting upset because the guy's trying to manhandle you out with the box, with a box out. You can't help it. You just have to fight back. In football, when the dude lays you out, half the time you should really get up and say, damn, that was a good hit. You can't get mad at it. That's his job. Okay, so the games that are the calling for physicality on the field, you're going to have some chippiness. I mean, it comes with the game. But as fans, no. Just because somebody was to scream from the top stands, number 12 sucks! And that might be your son. I mean, you can be kind of like, hey, that wasn't nice, but there's no need to put a hand on anybody.
All right.
I think that's what makes me so mad about it is the fact that they have to drive an hour and a half to complete 19 seconds, and that's why
just done
to me,
last night.
Either they finish it last night,
kick them out,
or they just replay the whole ass game.
All right, Hunter. Bunch of Hornet stuff actually today.
Yeah.